Well, the fallout in Minnesota continues as Tim Walz refuses to resign.
I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better. And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign?
Our next guest sat down with Nick Shirley, whose investigation into fraudulent daycares brought the scandal into the spotlight.
I'll be going to other places. I have part 2 coming out from Minnesota as well. That one's even crazier than the first one.
Is that possible?
Yeah, there's a lot of fraudulent businesses in Minnesota, and then all across the country, there's other places. I'm not gonna tip anybody off because I don't want to be put a target like I am in Minnesota. But yeah, I'll be going to other states.
Riley Gaines, Outkick host and host of the Riley Gaines Show, joins us now. Hey, Riley. Hey, sorry, yeah, hey, Riley.
Hey, Ansley.
Hey, great to have you. Congratulations on this new podcast. We're so excited. You're going to have 2 every week. They're going to drop at 10 a.m. And the first one is today, so Wednesdays and Fridays. And it's been so fun to watch your career. We were talking during the commercial break, and you were saying, I was in dental school. Then I started talking out about men playing in women's sports. And that led me to talk on Fox News and other outlets. And now you're working here in the Fox family for Outkick, and you have this new podcast, and you're going to talk about a variety of issues. The first episode is with Nick Shirley. And his story reminds me of yours because he posted these videos, and on X, 116 million people watched the videos of him talking about fraud. And now the governor is saying he's not going to run for office again, all because Nick Shirley, a 23-year-old, exposed all of this. And we all care about it because it's taxpayer dollars. Tell us about this first episode.
Yeah, well, Ainsley, I'm super duper excited. You're right. Nick is a 23-year-old, like, YouTube bro. That's how he describes himself, really, who single-handedly, with the help of David, I don't know if you watched his expose, which, as you mentioned, now has over 160 million views on X. Those two together, ended the political career of Tim Walz. And so what this tells me is, number one person, or in this case, 2 people, can have real and lasting and consequential impact that can influence the rest of the nation. The things that Nick speaks about in this episode, obviously what's going on in Minnesota, the depth of the fraudulent activity that we have seen, the people behind it, obviously Governor Walz, who has now stepped down, but even the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, many other lawmakers, people you would be surprised to hear about, how this is happening in other states, what he continues or plans to do about it. So really insightful and excited for him, for Nick Shirley. He is getting all the props and the kudos and the credit that he deserves and more. But with that, of course, comes pushback and negativity and vitriol and hatred. And now he's on the receiving end of it. He has to have security with him full time because the other side is so against exposing the truth. It is a political party that hates the truth. It's a real sickness, Ainsley.
Well, Riley, I know you asked him about that. This is what he had to say about not feeling safe in Minnesota.
Were there times when you were on the ground filming that you felt unsafe or like your safety was being threatened?
Yeah, there's a few times, especially when I went back the second time. I got pushed out of entire stores looking for businesses. People were coming out. One guy stopped in the middle of an intersection and just got out of his car at a red light and came charging at me. So, it's not like the most peaceful group of people I pissed off.
And Riley, didn't he tell you he's going to go to other states, that he's going to expose fraud elsewhere?
That's right. Yes, he is. And understand it's not just happening in blue states. I hope we see audits and real accountability in all 50 states. But when you look at what Nick said here and talking about how fraud is now a partisan issue, somehow this isn't something that both political parties can get behind. Of course, Republicans stepped in right away, willing to do whatever it takes to correct course. Democrats have seen this now as an off-ramp. But I can't say I'm really surprised. Democrats have consistently taken the wrong side of virtually every 80-20 issue. Think about it. Border, crime, parental rights, how children belong to their parents, not the government. All of the trans ideology stuff, consistently taken the wrong side of every 80-20 issue. And now they can't even say that fraud is a bad thing and that they're willing to do something about it to keep money in taxpayers, which are Republicans and Democrats, by the way, can't do what they're willing or what is necessary to do to keep money in our pockets.
Yeah, I can't believe this is something that the left wouldn't want to expose. Taxpayer dollars. Thank you so much. You can catch her first episode of The Riley Gaines Show. It drops today at 10 a.m. Eastern. You can watch it on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you, Riley. Great to see you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.